Now we're going to take scale factor again, where all dimensions are changing, both width and height, and look at the effect on area. Now we're using the same scale factors, so let me just go ahead and fill these in. 2 times 3 is 6, scale factor 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. Here we have a scale factor 3. 3 times 2, this is now 6. 3 times 5, this is now 15. And here I have a scale factor 4 on the 10. 4 times 10, that's 40 inches. All right? So the same dimensions we were working with before, but now instead of perimeter, we're looking at area. Area for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So in this case, it should be 1/2 times 4 times 3. 12, half of that, 6 inches squared. All right, 6 inches squared, because it's inches by inches. Area for a rectangle, pretty straightforward, base times height, 5 inches times 2 inches, or 10 inches squared. Area for a circle is pi r squared. So it's pi times 10 inches squared. So 10 squared is 100. 100 pi, and it's inches squared. Now I'm going to find the area for my new polygons and circles. Area, it's still the same formula, 1/2 base times height. So it's 1/2 8 times 6, which is 48, 24 inches squared. All right. Here, it's base times height. So it is 15 times 6 inches. That's 90 inches squared. Here, it's pi r squared. So it's pi times 40 inches squared. That's 1,600 pi inches squared. All right, so I'm pulling the units out every time. Now, let's take a look at how it changed. 24 and 6. So it went to 24. Oops, how many times bigger? It was just 4 times bigger. My bad. 10 to 90. How many times bigger is that? That's 9 times bigger. I'm putting it on the end for a reason. All right. 1,600 from 100 pi. That is 16 times bigger. All right. Now I'm going to put the scale factor and see if I can see a relationship between the scale factor and the factor of the impact on area. 2 went to 4, 3 went to 9, 4 went to 16. Well, that looks like 2 squared, 3 squared, and 4 squared. So the impact on area, the multiplier on area, is the scale factor squared. Oops, pretend I can spell. Squared. All right, so why is that? Well, one cool thing you could think about, why does this 2 show up twice and it only showed up once in perimeter? If I said 1/2, 8 was 2 times 4. 6 came from 2 times 3. So these are the old areas, and there is the scale factor right there. See those 2's? There were 2 of them. That's why you have it squared. Same thing for here. 15 came from 3 times 5. 6 came from 3 times 2. How many extra 3's did we have multiplying? 2 3's. And then this one, you can see that 40 came from 4 times 10. It's a little harder to see this one because you actually have to see that the squared also applies to that 4. So that's why it's scale factor squared. All right. The area of a trapezoid is 20 feet squared. Find the area of the new trapezoid after a scale factor of 6 is applied. So I know my old area, oops, pretend I can spell, is 20, and the scale factor is 6. I'm just going to use this new formula here. A prime, that's an easy way to write new area, is 6 squared times 20. 36 times 20, 720. So that is my new scale factor. By the way, the feet squared were there already. Let's be good on our units. All right? Now, here's an interesting thing on conversions. So if I'm doing old units to new units, first of all, we need to create a conversion factor. All right, so I'm going to say conversion factor. Okay, now how do I create this conversion factor? And that's a good question. How do I create a conversion factor? How, I'm going to add it in, do I create a conversion factor? Well, basically, they're going to generally give you something like this here, where they're going to say, oh, in your old units is this many new units, or this many new units, or that many old units. Okay, so the conversion factor, the way you know which one goes on top or bottom, is either going to be 3 feet over 1 yard, or 1 yard over 3 feet. Which one will it be? Honestly, the easiest way that we're going to do this is by using the units and dimensional analysis. Now, but first of all, before I do that, conversion factor is like a scale factor. So if scale factor is squared for area, then you have to square your conversion factor for area. If I was doing perimeter, I just use the conversion factor. All right? So I know that my old area in units is still going to be the same, but different units, is 36 feet squared. Which conversion factor am I going to want to use? Well, I know my new area, my answer will eventually be in yards squared. All right? So it's either the conversion factor is going to go right here. Here's my old area. Whatever unit this is, you want to use the ratio that has that unit on bottom. Why is that? And by the way, this is going to be squared. See the squared there. Why do I do that? Well, let me go ahead and show the next step. A prime equals 1 yard squared over 9 feet squared times 36 feet squared. Well, the feet squareds will cancel. So my answer will automatically be in the right units in yards squared. So that's a nice way of keeping it straight. The other thing is, it should make sense. Is a square yard bigger or smaller than a square foot? Well, if I were to look at the floor, and I'm kind of tempted to show you the floor over here. Floor, tiles. Oh, well, darn. If you got a tile on your floor, count out on the floor. We'll just do it here. 3 feet by 3 feet. So you're looking at floor tiles, right? That's 1 yard by 1 yard. How many square feet is that? That's 9 square feet. So a yard is bigger than a square foot. So if I have a certain area, it should be less square yards than square feet, and this all makes sense. My answer is 4 square yards. So my area equals 4 square yards. All right? So to recap these questions, how many dimensions does area have? Well, hopefully you're going to notice it does have 2 dimensions. And that's where this 2 on the exponent comes in. See how it shows up twice in the area formula. All right. What is the effective scale factor on area? Well, I'd say your answer is right over here. How do you convert units of measurement for area? I did my best to give you a very quick note on how to do that. This is not a big part of this unit, but you are expected to know how to do this. And then also as a side note, we said, how do I create a conversion factor?